So you share on here, and you probably present live.
Philip made people cry. How many yell-in sessions did you have with him?
How you guys doing? I'd like to thank Eric, Fabian, Diana, and Brian for kind of covering for us. We're having some technical difficulties. We're supposed to go first, so I'd like to extend a little bit of gratitude to them for kind of covering us. So we are Team 1. That is Chris Terrio, James Gray, Sammy North, and I'm John Balzano. And we are here to present to you Code Hound. Code Hound is an MVC, MVC3 ASP.NET application. It's basically an online code repository for development for MO consulting. It's going to be used for internal company use, so it'd be more along the lines of whoever's working at Invoke will be able to use it, not really so much outsiders will be able to get access to it. And users will be able to create, edit, search, and do all kinds of other cool stuff with code solutions, as you're going to see in the demo. But for now, I'm going to throw it to Chris to talk about some more.
Here's a list of our requirements from Invoke, who is our client. The list of requirements that they gave us that we've completed. Very proud to have completed. I do want to throw out for the syntax highlighting, we use a third-party library, and it was from Ball Upton, so I want to throw credit out to them. It was a really good thing. He was working on that for us. So this is our list, just the general requirements. Unfortunately, we had all of the requirements completed until earlier today when we again tested and noticed a little bug. So our code preview, we had to go ahead and throw to a not completed requirement. It gets a little buggy, and we didn't want to show you all the buggy feature. So that is unfortunately the only requirement we met. Some additional features that we've put into the program, we have profile pages. Users can go in and look at their profile. They actually have favorites. They can favorite certain articles, or you can view their history, what they've created, what they've submitted, and also even comments that they've submitted, and you can navigate around that way. See their email, their usernames, things like that. And we have a most viewed navigation that we'll talk about later. Just basically, you can look by the most viewed articles and see what's going on.
So, as for the job task that we had, Luca was mostly in charge of the services. He also helped with the database integration, integrating the database and stuff like that. Now, me and Chris, we mostly...
Sorry, before you move forward, what is services mean?
Services from our domain project that we were importing all the models from.
And now for me and Chris, we did most of the work in the controllers and also the views, a lot of the layout design, things like that. And Sammy mostly worked on the search, and did a pretty good job in search too, at my end.
So some of the technology we use, we obviously use Visual Studio, C# program. We also have some teller controls thrown into the program to make it look more friendly and cool and hip, because that's teller. And we use GIMP for a lot of the icons, the logo, different things like that. And so now we'll go ahead and go to the demo, show you more of it.
Sorry about this, guys. To the right? Right. Okay. My bad. My laptop doesn't like working with mileage. So this is Code Hound. We figured, obviously the first thing you guys notice is the banner. We figured since we are making software for MO Consulting, we give them a little bit of the credit, but we also had to throw our own little flair in there and let anyone using it know, it's not exactly them that made it, but us that made it for them. So as you can see, James is going to log in right now as main. We have validation. We did not use the .NET, the built-in .NET user validation scheme that there is. We decided to go with our own. We really wanted to mainly go with as much custom as humanly possible for this, because I know some people say don't reinvent the wheel, but you don't learn unless you do. That's the way I see it, at least. So we went ahead and we made our own pretty much everything. The third-party library is probably the hardest thing we didn't obviously make. So we're going to go ahead and add an article real quick. And it's going to throw you right here to this view. So James is going to go ahead and add a title. And as you'll notice right here, while James is filling in some of this information, we kind of wanted to give a little bit more of an option to the user. I've done a lot of database research, and I've never really seen a drop-down to let you choose what kind of database you've used. Now, obviously, for this little demonstration that we're going to do, we're not going to be using the database for whatever we're plugging in, but whenever James is finished typing this in, I would like him to go up and show you guys the options that we do give. We have, we support 10 languages. The syntax highlighter supports 10 languages, and it auto-detects whatever code snippets put into it. So it will know whatever you type. As of right now, it supports Perl, XML, HTML, C#, VB, Java, C++, C, and one more, I'm forgetting, JavaScript. And that's all in the drop-downs. It gives you the choice. You can select, you can actually manually enter your tags, as long as you just separate them by commas, and all of that should work. But for right now, we're just going to go ahead and add this article whenever he's ready. Apologize again for my laptop, it's not the friendliest. So there you have it. We created a new C# article, and this is basically returning. We didn't enter any tags, just because for demonstration purposes. Tags have been a little iffy, so we decided to kind of leave it off for right now. But as you see right here, we have the related links that returns based on the tags. Since the tags haven't been entered, it's another little bug that we had, but for now, you can navigate to any related links that you'd like to get to. But if you'd like to scroll down a little bit, please, James. You can see the syntax highlighter. I actually formatted the code for him based on the language. It did it on its own. Which is for now. Now I'm going to go ahead and throw it over to Sammy to let him talk about his search functionality that he implemented.
Okay, so I was in charge of a lot of the search queries, different data management and stuff like that, and dealing with relevance and such to return the best possible results whenever you're looking for articles and stuff like that. We did implement a feature, a cool control there with the popular articles, where you can actually, it shows all of our languages that we support, and this actually shows the most viewed articles, like the most popular ones, because they've been viewed the most. So you can see the, and they're ranked up to the top. But if you go to like Java, you could go to any language really, it doesn't matter. You can click see more articles, and you can scroll down the page and it'll show you that these are the most viewed articles, and if it has more than 10, it limits it to 10 at the moment, but you can click next and it'll go to the next page and show you more and more results. So yeah, and when you can go back if you need to. As far as search goes, I tried to do a little bit more with the search than normal searches because I wanted it to be cool. But if you do like, house split, that's just a regular string, that's 2 different words. I mean, it's just a string. But this goes in and shows off the keyword highlighting I worked on, which highlights any of the keywords in the description and stuff like that. It didn't highlight anything in the title because we did not do that with links, but this returns the results in relevance, and it did it in dog years time. So, but it returns it in results in relevance based on the title, the tags, the description, all in order, just by relevance numbers on how many times it occurs in the articles and stuff like that. Or, certain things way more than others, like title might weigh more than a description. So you might see something with a title but not in the description, above something with 5 times in the description. But there's 56 results, that's kind of cool. It tells you how many results there are, and it'll, you can scroll through the pages. That's searching for the article you just made. That's kind of cool. But to go a little further with the search, type in the search bar cterio, or just a part of a username. I wanted it to be able to detect if you search for users, if you want to see what an actual user has uploaded by not like navigating through the users, but searching by typing it in, and it'll bring back all the articles that that person has uploaded, which he's been very busy, 108 articles, and it goes in date order relevance too. So that shows you the most recent ones that he's done, which is also really cool. Now, another part of the search is if it doesn't find anything in the title tag, description, so on and so forth, it'll go to the code snippets area, and you can search code snippets as well. So search like system.out or something, you know, that might be in code. That also detects that you're searching for code by the way you type stuff in. It detects like special characters like parentheses and stuff like that, and it searches the code snippets first if you do put special characters in there. And if it doesn't find anything, then it also goes back to searching articles for the tag and stuff like that. All of these have system.out in their code snippets. You can click on one of them just to show them. I mean, obviously it's not in the description, so I mean it doesn't highlight anything there. But when you go to the article page, you'll see that it says it, and they're sorted by relevance as well. So this one would probably say it more than the next one on the list, you know. So you'll get the highest return on that. Other than the keyword highlighting in the search being as smart as I thought I could make it and a little cooler, I think that's about it for my part of the project. So.
All right, we're going to go back to the home page. Here's the article he just created, but I don't really like what he put in, so I'm going to go ahead and edit his article. You can click the little edit button. That's based on privileges. Whether you have privileges to edit or not, that button may or may not show up. We happen to have the privileges, so I'm going to go in here and I'm going to change, like, let's change the title to, I'm going to put new code is cool. Like, I think it's cool. His article is pretty cool. And I'm going to put down here, let's put, here's some code for you. Let's just add like for you in there. You could put it after you like take the period out. Changing words.
It's hard to say.
One more. One more? No,
Backspace. I'm doing the headless.
Yeah, backspace. Just put a space in there. We can leave it or you. Yeah, that's fine. Scroll down. So we're going to go ahead, we're going to edit this code. You go down to the bottom, you can hit, we want to leave this code fine. I like his code, it's fine.
Except the semicolon.
So I'm going to edit the article.
No, 1 semicolon equal 2
And let's say some time's passed and I look at it again and I'm like, what's happened to this code? You can look at it and find out what's going on by hitting repository. You click on repository, it'll show you everything that's happened to that code. And since we just created it and I only edited it once, we only have 2. If you click view here, it'll come up and it'll show you all of the changes that have happened between that edit and the last one. So when it comes up, it's cool, it's all highlighted. And notice there's no, you can't revert. It's the latest revision. But if I were to go back and I were to click on the other one, the first one that we did, let's say I didn't like all of my edits. I can click roll back to revision right here. It'll roll my code right back to that first revision that was there. The database connection is a little bit slow, and it rolls it back. You can see it's a new article, and it goes like that. Scroll. So let's say I like it so much now, I want to go ahead and add it to my favorites right here up at the top. Everybody has that no matter what your privilege is. You have your favorites. You'll add it to the favorites, and then I want to leave. I like it so much. I'm going to comment for Luca since he created it. You can scroll down. You can leave a comment. Luca is awesome. And once you submit your comment, it'll appear right there with your username and your comments. Once it connects to the database, it comes back. And there it is. You scroll down, you see my comment, Luca's awesome. So I turn it over to James.
Alright. You guys ready to see some cool stuff?
This wasn't the cool stuff?
Go down to the comment actually.
Oh, okay.
Now you may be wondering, why is his name underlined? Well, that's because it's actually a link. So click on his name. This is my name. Down a little bit. There you go. And there you go. You see his profile page. You can see his name, his email, his submission history, his comments. And those are all his comments. And you can see his favorites here. He's favored an article apparently. But, and also since he's logged in, he can edit his own user settings. Since that's him. So go ahead. change your own settings, but let's add a new user. So. Just go and run everything in. Oh, you went back.
Oh,
Okay,
you did that.
Another thing I want to mention while he's doing that is, so far you've seen the C# in the background of that one page, and it's been on every one that we went to because they happen to all be C#. That does also change based on the article you're on. If you're in an HTML page or if you're in any kind of page, it says it on the background, which is kind of cool just to remind you where you are. So.
I don't like that too much. I'm not going to do it.
Alright, so we've added the new user. Now if we click log out and then log in as cat. There you go, notice he doesn't have any buttons. But let's say Cat's a jerk and he wants to go to the page anyway. What if he manually goes to it? And the URL.
So he wants to add an article?
Yep.
Cat can't have an article.
Why? Oh. Too bad.
Do I put the banner in your home? But Cat
So
still
you
does
know it's
have
been
most
sent to the
capabilities.
administrators? Nice.
Yeah, he says splits. That's the only string we can actually submit.
There's nothing in the database with how splits. Splits is not in there, so.
I just wanted to show off 2 or more words getting separated on the highlight. That's why I just chose that.
That's the only one.
And then also notice you can't edit or anything. All I do
Can
is
you
add-
favorite that? Yeah. I love VB.
Another thing with our tags and stuff too is that, like they said, we haven't fully implemented finishing the tags and stuff, but the tags get added with your language in your database and stuff like that as well, so that it makes it more functional for searching and stuff like that and returning stuff. But they don't show up when you go to edit and stuff like that. They get removed and then change back to whatever you add as a new one. So.
I think that about wraps it up, guys. Do you guys have any questions?
I do have a question. Earlier in the presentation, you were talking about the drop down that allowed you to select your database.
Should go edit an article right here. Not a cat, I don't.
Focus camera.
And since it's beta, it's not very in-depth, but you do have the ability to add whatever kind of tag you would like.
Still beta. Still still in production.
Is it? Okay, well, we need to SPM better. Like I said earlier, we have a selection of all your languages. So if you wanted to change it to C++, you could. And also, just very basic SQL Oracle access.
And so is that the syntax highlighting that you're talking about?
No, that's just for that. Those right there, those are
Oh, I see
stored
what
in
you
the article table as a language and a database option. So if the user would like to search for a specific database, they can.
Okay, that makes sense.
And then we also actually push those into the tags, but the tags have been a little bit glitchy, so we go ahead. Any more questions?
If you're looking at an article and it has the tags on the side, could I click a tag and it'll show me all the articles of that language?
No. But you can.
You can click anything right there, and that brings you either to the article or to the language. That actually throws it through the search interface services and stuff that I have. And that doesn't return it like by the most viewed, like the other way it was. This is actually searching based on what you click
by
on.
the language
So,
itself.
Okay.
Yeah, since you made the mistake of opening up Visual Studio to run this, show me Visual Studio.
Actually, I didn't want to touch down on that, but we were told to. I wanted to publish this yesterday.
No.
I was
You open it up.
Okay.
I'm not criticizing you for doing that.
Okay. What would you like to see?
Make Solution Explorer wider.
Do you know who that is?
There's
All right, collapse the projects. Will you describe what we've got here?
All right, so basically we have our 3D3 domain, and that is what takes care of, that holds all our services, all of our models, and all our repositories. In the beginning, when we didn't have a database accessible to us, I created in-memory repositories to store everything, and then I just started creating the services to basically to communicate with the repositories. And then when we finally got our database, we tied everything in. And the 3D3 main project right there is holding all of our MVC data, all our controllers, our views, and all that good stuff. And then we have also with the 3D3 main project test, that was for unit testing. Unfortunately, we did not get around to it. I was just so thrilled to work with it.
It's good. It's good that it's good.
But we did actually use the repositories like Luca was saying. We didn't always have a database, and we've looked up on NBC, they talk about using fake repositories to test a lot of this stuff, and that's what we started out using anyway, so that we got most of our functionality working in the first place. And it was actually pretty easy to plug in the database. We just got a database like last week, but that's when we switched over from all our testing in the repositories, and it was easy.
That's good. That's a pretty advanced concept. That's pretty impressive.
So for the search, is it done on the database side, or are you pulling down the whole database and filtering?
Based on what you search, it queries it from the database and imports it into a list, and then just local stuff from there. And then that's where I'm sorting relevance and all that stuff is from the local list.
So did you use full text?
No. No, we did not.
Don't believe that. I'm not exactly 100% sure how it worked. I looked at it. I guess our interpretation of it might have been a little skewed. I was searching everything.
So you guys are using Link to query the database? Is that what I'm extracting from what you just said?
Yes.
Yes. All right. And then you're pulling it in, and once you have that large set of data, then you're applying more and more filters to it in order to get what you want.
Yes. I have several different regex methods and comparisons, and then relevance sorting methods, and that I pass each list through after I obviously check to see if any of them are null or anything like that, that doesn't crash.
So something a little more technical that I noticed earlier, about half of your screens leverage the routing structure where it's controller / action / ID, but then some of them use query arguments. Why are some of them using query arguments and rather than the default ID?
Well, are you talking about like the IDs that we're passing in through?
Right, yeah, so if you look at the URL, it'll say home / search /
Yeah.
Some of the views on the action link, we're actually calling a different controller in view. And so in the action link itself, we're passing a ID so that that controller can pull up the article we were currently looking at.
I tackled the pages viewing, and it was a bit challenging at first because it was like, what? But then I thought about just passing in an index value that I just increment based on whether you're clicking next or previous and stuff like that. Recently, it made me kind of happy. I saw other websites doing it. I didn't know that's how it was done. I just did that, and I noticed that they have indexes on like Newegg and stuff like that too. So
So MVC has several. It's convention over configuration. So there's several conventions in here. One that bit me was if you have a URL parameter that's the same name as a combo box on your page, it's going to set that number to the selected value of the combo box. And if that's not what you wanted, you're never going to figure that out, right? Unless you've read the book and you understand what's going on. If you don't specify a query argument, it's going to default to ID. These are the conventions that make MVC superior to web forms in one particular way, and that's web form projects are done any way you want to. You really want to understand the conventions when you do something in MVC so that someone coming behind you, like these two guys who are probably going to have to maintain a lot of this, understand what's going on because you were in agreement, not because you discussed it before, but because this is just the way that it's done. Your project separation is good. I would take it a step further and out of your domain pull your database access code out into a data project. But other than that, the separation is there and it's good. It's good to see.
Is there anyone else? I'm pretty sure we're way over time. No other questions?